Good afternoon. Today is the 17th of January and it's just short of 18 months since I bought this 2006 Volvo S40 2.4 SE. This is the Mark II version of the S40. It's a pre-facelift car. The facelift occurred in 2007. Got it from a fellow member of Volvo Owners Club on 104,000 miles on 1st of August 2023. It's actually on 120,000 miles now. I do a lot more miles than he used to. He absolutely, utterly adored this car and really looked after it, as you can imagine for someone who's in the club. He's now got another Volvo, of course, and I've benefited from this. When he used to take it to local Volvo shows and things, he used to actually win awards with this, and I haven't quite kept it in the condition that he did, but I have tried. I have just had it cleaned. So the S40 Mark II was made between 2004 and 2012. It's the same car underneath as a C30, a Mark II C70, a V50, and then the platform was used by the Ford Focus Mark II and the first generation Mazda 3. This has the 2.4 litre 5-cylinder Volvo white block engine. You could get other engines as well. You could get a more powerful version, the 2.5 5-cylinder white block with 227 horsepower. The later ones, the earlier ones, I think were 217. Same engine as in the Ford Focus ST actually at the time. But this is a much cheaper way to having a 5-cylinder white block engine. If you go to the T5, of course, you can get the turbo. This is a non-turbo with around 167 horsepower. Having driven the T5 back in 2024, I think it was. I just remember that. Yeah, it was. And then a 1.6 version of this. The T5 is not much faster, actually, in everyday driving than one of these. The 1.6 is much, much, much slower. Really, the sort of sweet spot for most people who don't need this sort of extra torque and power would be a 1.8 or 2 litre Mazda engine, which also came with these. The 1.6s are a little bit slow. Boot capacity in this car is quite good. It's quite big. It's just the opening's a little bit restricted. So my friend Mark, who used to have this car, he now misses the size of the boot for some reason, and his V40, it's a 2019. I really must clear some of his stuff out of here. You see my camping chairs in the back there, ready for events in the summer and things. But yeah, the car does have a spare wheel. It's under there somewhere. You've seen enough of these cars on this channel to know sort of what they're like. Paint's pretty good actually. There's no rust on this car anywhere. I've never seen a rusty C70 Mark II, V50 or Mark II S40. Those don't exist. The rust protection on these was fantastic. The C30 and the Mark II Focus and the Mazda 3, they were based on the standard version of the Mark II Focus platform, so they do tend to rust a bit, which is a shame. These just don't. Right, I'm afraid it's not particularly tidy in here, viewers. I had to do this video at quite short notice, but there's one big problem here. You can see there, the rear legroom is quite poor on this car. Previous owner tinted the rear windows because of his grandchildren and things like that, which is fine. It just means it's a little bit dark in here, but in the summer that's better. And also if you want to put things in here, you can you know, have a bit more security. Right, for seats like that, which is absolutely fine. Rear headroom is okay. It's a little bit bigger in the back here than my Rover 45 V6, which this replaced, but it's not massive. That is actually as far as the seat goes back. I'm not very tall either. I'm only 5'11", and that's actually the maximum the seat goes back. So if you're very tall, it might not be the right car for you. See other Volvos you could get or something else. Also, the door pockets don't exist in the back at all. We've got this leather interior. I think this was an option, this leather interior, on an SE. I could be wrong. Some of the things on here were definitely optional. Also, my air conditioning didn't work. I had it, and you know, an attempt to have it fixed. I changed both the compressor and the condenser, and it still doesn't work. So we've just given up now, which is a bit of a shame. Nice leather armrest. It's like an oyster interior. This is not a beige interior. It's an oyster interior. You've got some cup holders in the back, things like that. That's good. I'm in a 12-volt socket there. it's a pretty nice interior really for the age of the car, and it feels very high quality. There's very, very few Ford bits in here. I think the only Ford bit that I know of in these interiors is the handbrake, and that's it. You wouldn't know it was based on the Focus at all, really, most of the time. Right, let's have a look in the front. One thing you'll see in the door jamb here is that the previous owner used to put nitrogen in the tyres. I don't do that anymore. You don't really need to in a car like this, but he was a very, very careful person. So all mod cons, electric windows, electric mirrors. You've got an electric driver's seat that's heated memory seat. That's quite handy. These controls here are sort of interestingly come together. Really, you don't need to turn the lights on in this car most of the time. The only time you need to is when you are thinking you might leave the high beam, because when you turn the car on, it just runs with the dipped headlamps all the time because it's a Volvo. So you just get used to not touching that switch. It's fine. The instruments dim on their own at night, so it's not necessary to do that. You just got to remember, as I said, if you are driving around at night, if you want the dipped beam, you need to turn the headlamps on. So let's close this door. So there's the handbrake. I think this is a Focus handbrake. I haven't got it on because it's an automatic car and you don't need to use it all the time. Put the key in, key goes in there. And you got lots of bongs and things. The car has been serviced. It is due another service quite soon. It's been serviced, we just need to reset the light on it. You can see here, just turn that down a bit. I've got an aftermarket Bluetooth adapter for the stereo, because if you want a new stereo in here, that is difficult. It's very difficult to kind of swap this out for an aftermarket one, because then you lose the display for the heating ventilation. If this car is sat nav, and I have tested one of these with sat nav, it would live up here. I think it's the same unit as an Aston Martin. The glove box, we'll have a look at the size of it. Oh, hello, who's in here? Hello, Gordon. Say hello, Gordon. Yes, well, you can sit down there and be a good boy. There we go. Oh dear. So it's nice and big. 2 ice scrapers in here. You can just about get a secret mission documents in there if you want. My main problem with this car is the door bins. Look at the size of this, they're absolutely ridiculous. The facelifted cars that came in a year later do have larger door bins. This is really small ones. Why Volvo thought that was acceptable, I don't know. But yeah, the fuel release is just up there. And this is the trip computer. We'll actually have a look to see what we're doing. So we do about 400 miles in the tank. If it's winter, summer you can do 550 miles. That's the average fuel consumption at the moment. In the summer you rise to sort of mid-30s. You can get over 40 if you drive it very carefully on a motorway. There we go. My average speed in the car since I got it is 34 miles per hour, and that's about it. It's got cruise control. We've got controls for steering, for the stereo there. This is an automatic. You get a manual, of course, as well. The 2.4s tend to be more common with an automatic gearbox. Unfortunately, this selector for the manual mode does not work. It's never worked, and I don't think a previous owner got it to work either, so never mind. I really want an insert that goes in here for the cup holders. You can get them, but the facelifted cars have a different centre console from this. It's far more common to find the cup holders for one of those than this, so I've had to find one. Little sort of cubby hole in there, which is good. And with this little thing behind here, let's point to where it is, just here. You can put your sunglasses in there, but it's a nice design. It sort of looks stylish, but it's quite useless because if anything bigger than a pair of sunglasses falls out and you go around the corner, so it's a case of sort of looks rather than function. We've also got this Bluetooth adapter in here, but I haven't quite worked out how to sort of fix properly. I need to go to a car audio specialist to get that done. But mainly, this car is used for everyday use. I've used it as my main everyday car for the last 18 months or so. Right, well, let's have a look at the engine. So, Volvo's famous 5-cylinder white block engine. This is the Ford type, which is a little bit different from the earlier ones. In this case, generating 167 horsepower. Air filter is just at the front of it, so it can be a little bit faff to get that out. You can see a little bit of sort of Ford stuff here in terms of this coolant reservoir here. The earlier Volvos of this engine don't have anything like that. But yeah, it's a little bit tight in here. The 4 cylinders are a little bit easier to work on than this, particularly if this is an automatic as well. Radiator and electric radiator sort of at the front here. So yes, what has gone wrong with this car? A couple of things. First of all, I've needed a set of new tyres. It's quite heavy on tyres, this car. You can imagine it's quite nose heavy, and it's got quite a powerful engine, a lot of torque in the front. So I have a full set of tyres on this car. The other thing that's gone wrong with this car is the wiring specifically at the rear of the car, which actually caused number plate lights to break, and also meant the boot warning kept coming up and the boot wouldn't open. Unfortunately, despite the fact it was a really big job to do that, and Mr. Coleman, who looks after this car for me, spent a long time fixing that, we still haven't got the boot light working. That would be another bit of wiring. It's canvas wiring of this car, and it's an absolute utter pain. After that, there's not really been much that's gone wrong with the car, apart from the tyres. I've had the front brakes changed into pads. Apart from that, I don't really know what else to say. It just sort of gets on with it. Because the car's in such good condition when I got it, there's not really a lot to say about it. I must get the service indicator reset, and it does need a service in March. I had it serviced twice a year because I'm that sort of person. But yes, you know, if you can pick these up cheaply enough, and you can pick these up for under £1,000, this is worth more like £2,000 actually, one like this, because it's so clean. Then they can be quite good daily cars for people who just aren't fussed about things. They don't necessarily handle the best. The suspension's a little bit soft, and even the T5s don't have the sportiest steering, because Volvo decided that the car was presented for the American market, and they removed some of the steering feel compared with a Mark II Focus, which is a shame. But if you just do motorway driving, it's all right on corners. It's just not as sporty as you might think it would be. But anyway, that's sort of it. We'll just keep this running and see how it goes. I should be doing fewer miles soon, because I've got my Nissan Sunny back on the road, so that'll have some of the use as well. But that's about it, really. I drove a C40 yesterday, so that'll be on the channel at some point soon as well. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment below, and I suppose we'll see you in 6 or 7 months for the next report, 2 years.